Welcome to Tech for Tech's Tech Talk. This is episode 11, Distributors, the Good, the Bad and the Ugly. We are streaming live to the Tech for Tech Facebook group and page, YouTube, Twitter and Twitch, and you will now be able to listen to the show on Apple, Amazon, Google, TuneIn and Spotify podcasts. I'm your host, Philip Griffiths. Today we have no, we don't. I'm reading the notes from last week, so that's a good start. So we are now live on a new platform. We've dropped Zoom. We are all the content is now in HD. You should find the performance a lot better, and basically the whole stream should be a lot better. So please bear in mind with us while we'll learn the new tools and while I get the correct script up. Guests today, first of all, we have Cormac Donoghue from Crosshaven Computers in jolly old Ireland. How are you doing, Cormac?
Fabulous. I'm just looking at myself in HD, just bewildered with my beauty. It's all good, boy.
Let me ask you a question, Cormac. What do you get when you cross a chicken with a four-leaf clover?
But that's an opening. I don't know. Go on.
So it's the cluck of the Irish.
Oh, boy. There's the I'll never shake off the chicken, man, will I? Never.
Right. If anyone can see us, obviously live, can you please comment in the comments section so we actually know that, well, people can see us and we're not just talking to ourselves. So again, if you can comment in the comment section below, that would be ideal. So next up, we've got Ben Ashcroft from Bugs and Bytes in Lincoln. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm very well, Phil. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad, thank you very much. And next we've got Ian Harden from IPC Solutions in Essex.
Hello, how are you all?
I'm not doing too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you, very well. Not doing too bad.
Okay, so let's start off with some tips and advice from our guests. First of all, let's go to Cormac. Have you got any tips, advice, news, or anything interesting you would like to talk about today?
Yeah, first thing I'm going to talk about is this new interface. I can see everyone's comments. Hello, Michael. Hello, the PC Sergeant. Hello, Facebook user. That's really cool, isn't it? Congratulations, Phil. My tip really is that sometimes it's okay to turn down work as well, you know. I got called to a company today, and my first thing that I went whoa on was when the guy rang me up and he said, yeah, this other tech company recommended you. Now, I don't know the other tech company, and sure, that was nice of them. They were in Dublin, I'm in Cork. And then I kind of thought about it a bit more, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this, as in. So he said he had a server issue, and as I was talking about, I don't deal with servers, but they had 5 or 6 computers as well. So I was like, okay, I'll come and have a look at it, you know. And then I just asked, and it's always a very important question to ask, where is your usual IT company, you know? And that's always a good question to ask. Why isn't our usual IT company looking after? And he was like, oh, sure, we didn't have an IT people in here for a while. And I was like, when was the last time there was IT on site at your place? And he goes, 10 years ago. So first of all, what I got from that was that they're a very nice chat now. These people aren't spending money on IT. They just don't think for some bizarre reason it should be in their budget. So it was very close to where I work from. So I popped in, and really it was like walking into a museum. Really was. It was 10, and I just looked and very nice chat with them, and just explained to them that really this wasn't a job. I said this was a project, as in you need to update everything, like literally everything starts from scratch. So you'd be talking about big money to replace all computers, all this and that, and basically look, discuss among yourselves. If you want to do that, then come and talk to us. But that's as far as I can do. And he was like, but can't you look at a couple of computers were there? And I was like, no, it's not, because I would have to do a survey to find out what's going on with the servers, etc., etc. But I won't be going near that job anyway. I don't think I'm too busy. I don't want to take anything else on. But I do always have a problem with companies that don't spend any money on IT in 10 years or so, because any price that I'm going to give them, they're going to go, oh, whoa, if which is vital to every company, that they don't want to service their computers, don't know if it's kind of the clients that I want to have, you know. So my tip is really it's okay to turn down work. Yeah.
Okay, so that was a good news and advice, should we say? Right, let's go on to Ben. What have you got to tell us today, Ben?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of an interesting week, but one of the projects I've been trying to get parts for or finish off, I've got a 17-inch Sony SVE series, bit of a rare old machine. Needed to get basically a hard drive cover. My friend just bought a brand new 3D printer, and he's an apprentice engineer, which is very handy to know because I didn't have the first clue about designing stuff. And basically built me a hard drive cover for this Sony laptop because they're almost impossible, like hen's teeth to find. Very impressive. So it's just a little thing, but it finished the other machine off that was otherwise going to sit in the pile for weeks or months possibly. Yeah, just handy little thing to invest in 3D printers. Great little thing. Lots of extra uses that you might not think, and quite handy. It did take quite a while to build the cover. It took 6 different designs. The last one was very close because it was one of the screw holes was 1 millimeter out. But other than that, was perfect. And yeah, the last one spot on. Even got to build on little bits like bump stops for where the hard drive carry should have been. So yeah, just something like that, really.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. It's amazing what you can do with 3D printers, and to be honest with you, obviously you need someone to design the schematic, but you can print pretty much anything you want. I know they use them in like the RAF for printing parts for planes, what they just can't buy parts for and stuff anymore because, well, you know, the British RAF, the flying machines, which are probably about 40, 50-year-old, so no one knows how to make parts anymore. So 3D printers are absolutely amazing. Right, let's move on to Ian. Ian, what's your news tip advice of the day?
I think for myself this week, it's certainly going to be, as I'm in the process of streamlining everything and getting myself organised this year, I think it's going to be finding some automated accountancy software and actually not being so tight and actually paying out for it, because one of my customers, bless him, said, I'm paying your invoice today. That I forgot about, and I just thought to myself, I've totally forgotten that you owe me money, because he's a regular customer. But so I'm going to get myself some software that can do that for me and can remind me that people owe me money. But it doesn't help. It's only one person. But I asked Ben actually after he had that part printed. I was thinking of getting a 3D printer myself for the very same reason. I've seen a massive increase in repairs. Since the turn of the year, actually, massive increase, and a lot of it is older stuff that you just can't get the parts for, even on eBay, and I'm struggling to get them from abroad as well. And I was just thinking to myself, get a 3D printer and start doing them myself. But I need to look at the cost side of things and how much time and effort and cost it's going to cost me. But Ben gave me some advice on that and scared me off for the interim. But I'm going to revisit that. So yeah, for me, it's just getting some decent software that can do my accounts for me as well.
Well, that's some pretty good advice. So I suppose that leaves me. I'm going to talk about distribution issues, and coincidentally, I got an email from, some of you know him, Scott at Target earlier today, and he's basically, give me basically an update regarding all the issues regarding distribution. Bear in mind, they'll be posting this on their website, I think tomorrow it is, so keep a lookout for that, and we'll share it out as well and probably stick it on our website as well. But basically, they're saying that a lot of the issues at the moment, and there's a lot of problems at ports, shipping containers on both sides of the world. So basically, there's lots of shipping containers in different places where there shouldn't be due to all the lockdowns for different regions and so forth. So, for example, in China, they ain't got any boxes to put all your stuff in to ship it over. So obviously the big containers. So they're really struggling, which is causing pricing in general quadrupling of shipping a container over to the UK, and even up to 6 times the normal rate in late 2020 and early 21. So it gives you a rough idea. So obviously the bigger their item is, the more money it's going to go by than smaller ones, because obviously you can only fit so many items in a container. So if you can fit loads of processors in there, but if you're sticking in 30-inch or 50-inch TVs, obviously that's going to increase the price quite a bit. It does go in saying that there's something about like 66,000 empty containers just in one of the UK ports, which obviously aren't being used. So that gives you a rough idea. It's saying air freight again is... let's have a look. Freight costs have risen significantly as well. So there's quite a few bits of information. So what I suggest is you basically go and check Target tomorrow, and we'll post it in the Tech for Tech's Facebook group and on the website. But there's a lot of information on here. It's like two or three pages worth of information telling you all about the impacts on deliveries, even into Ireland as well. So that might interest you, Cormac. It's basically all bad news, to be honest with you. Basically just telling you what's going off at the moment with all the distribution issues around the world, and specifically the UK. And it's nice to see he doesn't really blame Brexit that much either. So that's a good thing. But most of it's COVID related by the looks of it, which is a shame. Right, so let's go on to today. Today we're going to be talking about distributors in general. So no name calling live on air, guys. So obviously chat, that's up to you what you type. I can't stop you typing what you're typing. But obviously the guys who are in chat here with me, so Cormac, Ben and Ian, no mentioning any names, specifically any distributors or whatever like that. So the show is basically how you can voice your opinion and let distributors know what they're doing wrong and right and what they should be doing right. And basically, well, tell them what you want them to do and what they're maybe not doing, or why you go to Amazon instead of going to distribution. So obviously you might not like distribution for a certain reason and you buy stuff from Amazon or even elsewhere. Just to give you a start off with a poll, what we did last year it was actually, with basically 133 members. Okay, one second. Can you guys hear me or watching? Is there any problems?
No, it's fine.
You can hear me fine? Okay, sorry to stop there.
Yeah.
I think it's an issue with Brexit and stuff, what's affecting Cormac's sound, probably. Sorry about that. So let's start with a poll that we did. Yeah, I think Cormac's having a few connections issues, possibly. His sound seems to be a little bit funny. So, right, let's start with a poll. Okay, let's start with a poll that we did last year, which 133 Tech for Tech members voted on. The poll was, why should you buy from one distributor to another? And basically, well, I'll list basically the top few items of why people should buy at distribution, or why they buy at specific distributors than another. One is availability of products. Number two is dedicated representative who calls you, who is based in the UK, that can help advise you on a product. The third is the returns policy. Number four is physical point of sales, stuff like posters and stands and stuff like that. Next is free samples of products for demo reasons, to show off in your store. Obviously, it's always a pain when these distributors say, oh, come buy our new product, what you've never heard of and no one's ever heard of, but then they don't give you any marketing material, no fake or dummy products or anything like that to show off. It's more of probably an issue with if you've got a retail store than if you're a MSP. But again, it can be a bit annoying is how do you shift something if no one knows what it is and you've got no marketing material what tells you what it is, unless you make it yourself, which then you're doing their job for them. So next is availability or lack of availability on Amazon. So obviously people don't want to be undercut by Amazon, so they don't want to go out and buy, let's say, some Corsair products. This is just a random name from whichever distributor it may be, and then find you can actually buy it cheaper on Amazon. So what's the point them buying it from the distribution if you can get it at Amazon cheaper? digital artwork for your website and your social media, so Facebook and so forth. Next was an eco-friendly company. That's something I didn't expect to see on the list, but some people are taking the eco-friendly approach at the moment. Also on the list, you've got rebate schemes, who use delivery, packaging design, is it practical, got hanger on, and stuff like that, and even in-depth product training. So let me move on to our guests. I'm going to start off with Cormac. So what's your ideas on, or why do you or not use distribution, and have you got any stories or anything you think they should do or not do?
Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to bring up Brexit for this. Going to have to apologise about that, but I'm going to have to bring up Brexit. Now, first of all, I wish to point out I'm not bringing it up in any political way whatsoever. Nothing at all. I'm talking about a pure and utter business sense. It's been a disaster. I don't know how it's been from your sides. We don't know, as you said about the freights, about things being empty. You don't know with COVID and stuff what's going on. So I can only tell it from my end, okay? My end and the businesses around here, it's been a disaster. And why I'm bringing this up when we're talking about suppliers and all that, it's that even if ye spoke very highly about a crowd in England, which no one ever reached out for me from England anyway as such, I'd be very hard pressed to choose them as suppliers now. And the reason being is that I was on a Brexit training day the last day with a customs officer and 16 businesses. And again, this is just business. There was English people on that call as well. And the advice from the customs officer was, if you can source your goods elsewhere from Britain, source them because of the paperwork and everything. The situation being is that, like, where it's okay, where we ship in laptops and all that, and we have a great relationship with the English suppliers and all that, okay? And we have built up a relationship where I'm quite happy to send over a few £1,000, whatever it needs, and they're sent in. But there's delays coming in. The delivery people coming in were demanding. We seem to be prepaying the VAT. So, like, I'm getting a phone call next minute. The UPS or DHL or all these things are saying you owe 700 quid. You have to pay the 700 quid. I was actually paying it in cash in the end because you couldn't get through to their telephone lines. And the situation being, I wasn't getting receipts. It was like nearly the mafia were coming to my door demanding money. Where that comes into effect, it seems to be that we're prepaying our tax before, or VAT before it comes in. Now, that takes away from cash flow. So the other situation being is, we'll say Phil there said to me, he said, Cormac, we're now, after starting a business where we're selling SSD hard drives, we're going and we're looking for new customers and we're going wholesale. And I would say, Phil, that's great. And before December, I would say this is brilliant. I know Phil, I don't mind sending him a few £1,000. I know Phil will send me those things. But the problem being with that now is that we don't know. No one knows. All of the business owners who I actually do IT from, and these are big businesses, still people aren't getting the deliveries. They've been sent back at ports, this and that. And my problem, here's an example. If Phil was to sell me, we'll say £5,000 worth of SSDs, okay? The issue with that is that I don't know if I'm going to get taxed and tariffs. And you might ask, why am I getting tariffs? Because those SSDs, unless they were built in Phil's basement, which they weren't, were built in China. So Phil is getting them in through China. So I could get charged for those. It's different for laptops, we'll say, because if they're refurbished, enough work of them is being done, so they're regarded as English goods. Okay, so that's grand. I can bring them in. But if from where an example is a clothes business that we supply, we do IT, is they get their stuff off England. England gets it off India, but the fact that it was made in India means it's an Indian product, not in English. So they are going to have to cut out all the English business sides of things. It's been a disaster for us, as in we had to learn to trade. We had to do all training of accountants. The deal being done on the 23rd of December. Insanity. No one knows exactly what's going on. Even ringing up my own Irish tax offices, they're kind of not sure what's going on. So it's after making things a lot more difficult to trade with suppliers. Like I hear you talking about, and we're not mentioning names there, your suppliers, who gives you goods. I would love to get a relationship with that. I've stopped buying off Amazon unless I need to, which is grand, because I went and we have another wholesaler here for hard drives and all that. So maybe switch over to them, which was not a bad thing anyway. I can start a personal relationship with them. But yeah, that's the real world. That's the real world out there at the moment. The real world is that if we can source goods for outside England at this moment till it dies down, or till some sort of proper systems are put into place, it's just like the Wild West at the moment. And unfortunately, the way I look at it, we're going to suffer, and the British are going to suffer. You know, it's not good for business for anyone. I'm sure people will argue, and sure people will go up and say, Cormac, you're missing a couple of points. And that's true. I probably am missing a couple of points. But the thing is, no one knows. It's not just me. It's businesses way bigger than me. Don't know what's going on. I'm trying to hire custom agents. Now, as I said, the good thing about it, I think I'll get away with the laptops. But besides that, I don't know if I could buy off England at this present moment in time, because will I get the goods? Will they be turned back? How much am I? And I'll finish on this one. The problem with paying the tax or the VAT on the way in is that you can have cash flow. You usually want to have your goods, sell your goods, and then pay the VAT. So now I have staff working for me. I have a wage bill. I would have to make a decision before the end of the month, because I need wages for them. Do I use all my cash flow? It's just the Wild West, and I don't know. I don't have answers past that at the moment on it, you know?
Well, I wish I could reassure you, Cormac, and say everything's going to be fine, but I'll expect that £5,000 in the post tomorrow. So make sure that's UK pounds and not euros.
But see, Phil, that is my exact point there, is like, I would love to send you the £5,000 or any, like, I was looking forward to this show because I was like, I get handy tips on who to buy goods off. Now that I'm getting bigger and, you know, I don't have to buy off Amazon, I might be able to get better prices. And like, if this was before Christmas, I would love this. I would have my pen down taking notes, and I'd be kind of going, oh, you get them off them. You could put me in contact with them, with the sales managers. Let's all have a group hug. Life is good, really. And I'm not being smart on that. That was the way, and that's the way business should be good. Instead, like, if he gave me gold and he said, Cormac, you can get this for a certain price off these people and we'll give you contact, I kind of have to say no at this stage, you know? And that's what the real world is on it. And I'll stop now because I'll get thrown off for getting on my soapbox. But that's it. You know, it's cost me a fortune since it started, you know? All right.
I can see where you're coming from. I think, to be honest, at the moment, it doesn't really matter even if you could buy stuff from the distributors in the UK, because they've all pretty much got nothing to sell because they can't get anything because everything wants going off, which is a bit of a nightmare at the moment. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from, and it's nice to have this perspective from over an island and somewhere else rather than within the UK itself. Right, let's move on to Ben. So Ben, what have you got to say about distribution? What's good, what's bad, what don't you like, why do you buy at certain places over others, and so on?
Distributors, we love them or hate them, we still use them. I have to say my experience with distributors has been generally pretty good. Got accounts with a few of them. I understand, obviously, the rules are different for business to business compared to business to consumer. The one thing that sort of gets me is the returns back to the manufacturer rather than back to the distributor themselves if you have an issue. And I believe that's across the board. If something goes wrong, you don't want to be sending stuff all across the country to different places, or in some cases sending it abroad. You just want quick, good service and get the issue sorted out, get the part replaced or whatnot. You know, it can be a bit of a slog, but it's not the end of the world. But I mean, the difference there is, if I buy something that's Bugs and Bytes Computing on Amazon or eBay, I get the consumer rights. If I buy something that's bugs and bytes computing through a distributor, it's classed as business to business. So it's something that's always kind of got to me a bit. But I understand how it is. Things I like about distributors, I like, generally speaking, the better pricing on stuff like SSDs than you'll get on the likes of Amazon or eBay or other places. I also quite like the fact that because you have an account manager, you build a rapport with them. They'll sort of keep you in the loop about products that are coming out. Other thing I quite like is the open days, that sort of thing, because the open days are brilliant for the sort of networking, meeting new contacts. I've picked up a few new customers through the open days that I've been to with distributors. Yeah, so bit of a mixed bag, but generally quite good, quite happy.
Yeah, that's pretty good then. I think we first met at Open Day. Was it the Target one?
It was, yes.
Yes, it was the Target one. Who introduced us? Was it Alison by any chance?
It could well have been the lovely Alison.
Actually, I have a feeling Alison had something to do with it, but I might be wrong. But yeah, so yeah, I must agree. There's return policies and stuff being different for consumer and businesses is a pain in the backside. You'd think that the rights for business would actually be better than the consumer side, but it's not. So it's sort of, it all goes to the consumer in the end. So you'd think the whole chain of things would be covered under the same rules and regulations rather than a different rule for the reseller and a different rules for the consumer. And it goes the same in a lot of the distributors do it, and it's down obviously to returning items. You have to, obviously, in most places as a consumer. Yeah, I can see you, Ben. You fine? Okay. It looks like we might have lost Ben. So wave if you can see, if you can hear me, Ben. No, I think we've lost Ben possibly. If one of you guys can just type into the private chat and just tell Ben just to log out and log back in, that'd be ideal. So yeah, so there's a few issues obviously with returning items. What you had maybe 60 days or even dead on arrival, and you have to pay to send it back. If you would buy it from Amazon or wherever, Amazon pays for everything. They'll come and pick it up your door. They arrange everything. You don't have to worry about a single thing, to be honest with you, which is a bit of a pain. And if you sell something to your consumer, they expect the same thing. So as a reseller, if you sell it to Bob down the road, then he expects to be able to return it to you with ease and so forth. But the problem is then as a reseller, you've got to send it back to the distributor at your own cost in a lot of cases. Don't get me wrong, some are not the same, but most of them are, unfortunately. It's one of the biggest issues I've come across, I must admit. So let's let Ben back in. Can you hear us now, Ben?
Yes, can you?
Yeah, there you go. Sorry I missed out on that bit. Don't know what happened there, but did you have anything else you wanted to add on that one? Or
No, I'm okay, thanks.
You think you got that one? So next up, I think we've got Ian. So what's your likes, dislikes? Why do you buy from certain places over others, and so forth?
I think for me, a lot of the time it comes down to price, but also service. And I'm also, like some other people, trying to buy less from Amazon. I find Amazon quite horrible to deal with, and a lot of the customers really, really horrible. And it's getting worse on there. It's just getting, as you say, it's more of a buyer's platform now, because they just don't care about sellers. They really don't. They'll take your money, but they don't do it. But I think for me, I echo with what a lot of people in the chat are saying as well. I think the returns process with distributors is a pain. Although I did have one really good experience with one of the big distributors that we all use over a damaged case, and they just sent me another one on Saturday because it was for a customer urgent build, and my account manager just said, yeah, leave it with me. And they sent one out without me having to pay for it. I was quite happy to pay for it, but they just sent a free replacement and didn't want the other one. I mean, it was a cheap case, don't get me wrong, but I thought that was a really good bit of customer service there, and something that I wasn't expecting, if I'm honest. But But yeah, I generally go for price and service. I find that from some of my distributors, some of them I haven't heard from my account manager for ages, not at all. And I have had several changes of account managers, but I don't hear anything from them really. But other distributors I have a good relationship with. They phone once or twice, once a week, maybe once a fortnight, which I find is about right, just to touch base. And some of them just email me with offers, and some of them I've had really good dealings with, where I've referred people to them, and they've done me some favours, which I don't expect. If they've got a product that someone wants, I'll just refer people to them. I'm not looking for kickbacks all the time, but it's nice to have that bit of customer service, and we'll help you because you helped us. So I do like, and I would always go to a distributor. And to be honest, I class a lot of you, the Tech for Techs group, as distributors as well, because I'll buy, if I can, I'll buy from members, be it services, products, or parts. The PC surgeon said, yeah, I know you've got thousands, especially in your little storeroom. So I will go out on the group and ask, has someone got this, as we all do. So I think we're all kind of little distributors ourselves, really, and we all try and help each other out. But yeah, the big three, I think the returns is the big issue. Postage charges sometimes for piddly little items is really annoying, and sometimes you just have to buy from Amazon or eBay because it's just cheaper sometimes. And I know it's a big issue at the moment, but supply is a massive issue. And some of the not all of the distributors, but they are loading the prices up as well. I suppose because they can, because there's a lack of stock. But swings and roundabouts. But I always go to the suppliers first, distributors first rather, to see if they've got what I want before I go wider. But overall, they're okay. They've got their good points and bad points, and sometimes you get really good account managers, and sometimes they're useless. But that's the same with everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I must agree with you. Seem to be getting an echo.
You seem to break up a bit, Phil.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure what was going off there. It was a bit of an echo, probably from someone else. But basically, as I was saying, that account managers can be a distributor's best and worst asset, I must admit. I do generally deal with the ones that call me more often, but then you get some which call you all the time and you just don't want to know, to be honest with you. They don't sell the products you want and they're just annoying as hell. Those of you who are probably watching, you probably know who you are, because I know at least one of them is watching at the moment. So, but yeah, the basis is that they can be a great asset, but they can be the worst asset of the business. One of the good things you can do with account managers as well, especially at the moment while there's a shortage of parts and you need parts, you can't get them anywhere. You can have a word with your account manager, which you can't do with Amazon, and basically say, look, when you get a so-and-so in, can you put one side for me, and so forth. And a lot of time they'll say, well, actually, might have one in the put on one side somewhere, what someone else should have paid for, they haven't done yet, or possibly that they've got some coming in later today, but they're not listing them on the website because they're only doing like special orders because they've only got 10 or 20 of them coming in or whatever. So be nice to your account managers, talk to your account managers, especially ones that obviously decent distributors you want to deal with, because a lot of times they can get you things. And I've had, for example, managed to get hold of 3080, took a couple of weeks, but I got an NVIDIA 3080 with slightly no problem, took a couple of weeks to do it, and hey presto. But otherwise, if I'd just been checking the website every day, it would have never shown up. So make sure you talk to your account managers, and obviously the good ones out there know who you are. Right. Do we have anyone else who's got anything to say regarding this subject? No? Right, let's go to chat. So what we got in the chat then? So let's first of all say hi to everyone who said hi. So hi PC Surgeon, hi Alison Cook, hi Jamie Barker. Let's have a look. It says printed a hard drive cover. Shame the designs are not more readily available. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a library, what you could just print out parts. That would be, I'd get a 3D printer tomorrow if I could just print out parts when needed them.
Actually, Phil, there's a one of the shops, one of the guys I work with there. He has his own shop, but he got a 3D printer. But where it really comes into effect for him, he does fabulous Instagram stories of it, and you will find yourself watching it. He'll be building, and loads of crazy little things, But it's actually very good for your tech shop. You've got, you're doing an Instagram story, or you're putting up on your Facebook, you're showing stuff, and 3D printing is still new and exciting, and it's a good way to get your name out by advertising. Even if you're 3D printing Star Wars figures or basically I just ran out of ideas what you can print, but you can print anything, But it is actually a great thing to watch on his stories. So if anyone wants to get one, maybe that's the excuse they can do to spend the money on one,
Yeah, I must admit, when I think the first time I saw a 3D printer, I just watched it. I think it was on fast forward. Just sat there watching it on the screen for like 20 minutes, watching it build whatever it was, trying to figure out what the hell it was building.
He came up with I thought he done some fabulous stuff, but he's in a shopping center. So like if you have shops close to a shopping center, okay, the way you put in your token for your trolley, a little coin thing. He made one of those, but with his logo, and just handed them out free. So that's brilliant publicity,
Yeah, that's pretty good, that is, to be honest with you. Some amazing things you can do with tech when you know what to do with it. Yeah. And yes, I do agree, whoever just posted that one. Let's have a look. So Richard Overfield says, distributors should send out free chocolate and or beer with every order. That would stop us all buying off of Amazon. Okay, I don't know about that one. I'm not sure it'd be good for.
Sorry, and I'll just bring up that's not a bad thing. When we ship our laptops in boxes, obviously, and stuff, yeah. But we put in a little card saying thank you for supporting small business. But we also put in 2 packets of sweets inside them. Just 2 little packs of jelly and stuff. Because it's a bloody good idea, because I got that idea from buying something off another local business, some Eco-Tim for my sister, and there was a handwritten card with a couple of packs of sweets, and that that's the first thing you notice when you open the box, and you kind of go, and it costs you like 20 cents, and it's a nice little just pushes the local business then a bit more,
Yeah, I can see that. I want to say that's a good idea. I remember a distributor used to doing that. They used to stick a pack of Haribo in every order. I can't remember who it was. I think was it someone like Enter when they were around, probably 5-10 years ago or whatever. I can't remember now, but I remember someone doing it all the time. Every time you got an order, there's a pack of Haribo in there for you, which was a bit tempting. But
I see UK do that.
Who's that? Sorry,
Overclockers do that.
Do they? They do that as well.
Yeah.
And we're talking about them now, aren't we? It works like.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. You can get a bag of 2. First thing I do is eat them.
You're not bothered about building the computer with the components. You just want the.
I just want the Haribo.
So there we go. Carl Mitten says he uses my 3D printer a lot for hard drive caddies, etc. And he says, have you looked at those available on Thingiverse, etc.? I'm presuming that's a website what you can get schematics from. Thingiverse. He's put it in the chat. So it's Thingiverse.
I'll have a look at that.
So might be good.
I am tempted.
Yeah, so something to look at. PC Surgeon, I think you've already spoke to him about that, says he's got thousands of parts from 2009 onwards, so he's drumming up some trade there, which is good. Let's have a look, see what's relevant. Richard Overfield says, we are lucky we have a few distributors who really look after the independent reseller, but I find a lot of other distributors really hard to deal with. I won't mention any names to keep keep me happy. Thank you, Richard. But would love to. Yeah, I can imagine there's a few what I find it difficult to deal with, and even when I want to do a show or do anything with them, they just don't want to know. So it makes me not want to use them in any way, to be honest, because usually their account managers are not the best. I got one the other day, an email saying, "You're a new account manager at so-and-so distribution." And I was like, "Oh, right. Who was my last account manager?" I was like, no clue, because it's been that long since they've contacted me. So next was, let's have a look. PC Surgeon says, I think that is what Amazon has been building up since 2016. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but they are they are properly geared up for Brexit. So Amazon was sort of prepared, and well, it's got the weight behind it, and you can't suddenly tell Amazon to stop selling stuff. Let's have a look. Amazon use Marketplace to get their market research for free. If you have a product that sells really well, they will go directly to the manufacturer and do you over, is the polite word of saying that, and you pay them to do it, basically. So what he's saying is basically if you make a product and you sell it on there, Amazon will basically get it from elsewhere or whatever. So next up, we got Richard again. He's saying distributors should send out free chocolates and beer, which we already mentioned. I must admit there is one distributor out there which I think they still do it. Every time you place an order with them, you get entered for a free draw for a pizza. I think I didn't even know about them doing it. I think it was last year sometime. It was about the first time I'd ordered from them in 6 months, and I ended up winning a pizza. And I was like, okay, I knew nothing about this. And it's like, right, which pizza do you want? And I was like, okay. So that was taken care of for me and Jen that day. So, but yeah, thank you, that distributor, if you're watching. I'm sorry, I've not bought anything else from you since. Oh, that's another story. Right, PC Surgeon is all you're saying is fine, but distributors, but the bottom line is that Amazon and their automation of tech and services does a better job than Dist is, in my opinion. I don't really need to talk to account manager about product. I can get all this info online. I think distributors need to totally reform their model as they do have a key role to play. I sort of agree with you there as well. Don't get me wrong, Amazon is a lot more polished, more streamlined and so forth, obviously, but they do have a few more billion behind them than the distributors do, so which is a bit of a catch. The problem is buying stuff off of Amazon, which I've always found out I don't like to because of the issues with tax, shall we say. I'm not saying if they pay it or not, or a correct amount, where obviously if you're buying from a UK distributor, hopefully they are paying the correct tax and stuff like that and so on. But I just find them easier to deal with. I'd rather have a chat with a distributor. I know you're saying you don't need an account manager. That's down to preference. But everyone obviously has their own preference, but I prefer to stick with either local or national chains if I can. And if I have to go to Ireland, well, we'll go to Ireland. But to be honest with you, I can't remember anything I've ever bought from Ireland.
Chickens, Phil. We have chickens, man.
Chicken. Yeah, okay.
Chickens, man, it's not a problem.
So let's have a look. Richard Oversfield says, yes, Cormac, we used to do the same, but now we put a bottle of hand sanitizer in instead.
Good idea, man. Good idea.
Yeah. So you could always put the hand sanitizer so they can sanitize the packet of crisps or sweets or whatever you're putting in, I suppose. But yeah. So, and I must admit, Cormac, those stickers, what you said about a couple of shows ago, we're still putting them on laptops and they do go down well. Because
they go down very well. They go down. Yeah. We put them on all the refurbs we sell. They just look like we're making an effort, you know. They look sweet.
If anyone's unaware what we're on about, basically Cormac mentioned that he puts like little stickers on machines when he's sanitized them after he's repaired them, sold them, whatever he does with them. But basically just says sanitized, and he did send me a link or whatever, which I'll have a look out for. I I can't even remember where it was from now, but I remember buying them, and they've been pretty good, to be honest with you. Right, let's have a look. PC Surgeon says, I was talking about their infrastructures to buy and sell into the EU and out, basically. So the infrastructure of Amazon, obviously, it's global, so they can easily sell and move things around with ease. And obviously, they've been planning it for years. They've probably got whole legal teams working on it, probably more than there's people what have been working on the Brexit negotiations, in all honesty. And they've probably got a bit more intelligence as well. No comments on politicians there.
I think with Amazon, sorry, just in relation to that comment, because I'm an active seller on Amazon. It is a pain to sell. There's a lot of people that are in the UK on the seller forums that have actually stopped all their EU accounts now, just because it's going to be a pain in the backside. But I think the best model is eBay's global selling platform. I think they have really nailed it, and they persuaded me to use it because I never shipped abroad. But basically, that you send it to their distribution center, I think in Lichfield, and then as soon as it hits them, they take over everything. You don't have to do anything. They charge all the postage, they deal with customs, you name it. And I just sit back, and unless the item's faulty, I never hear anything again. They deal with all the returns if the customer wants to return it. It's a great, absolute great scheme. But Amazon, I wouldn't even think about selling abroad with them. It'd be a pain.
I did use eBay quite a lot for selling, but unfortunately the whole side with the buyer, never the seller, just was kind of turned me off, because it's got so bad now they can basically just open a case for anything that they want. Colour, tiny little scratch that wasn't in the picture, and it's just all of a sudden you're getting stuff sent back to you with no actual fault. I mean, the GSP, the Global Shipping Program, like you're saying, Ian, it's quite good. The only thing is, I have had a couple of times where the buyers sort of emailed me after it's hit the GSP, and they've sort of said, why am I being hit for an extra 20 quid of charges? And that's not since EU, since Brexit. That was way before Brexit, because the Global Shipping Program then charged the buyer directly extra money on top of the shipping. But I think it shows on the invoice from you. So,
but the thing is, when you buy an item, or when one of my customers bought, I think it was a MacBook Pro, I charge like my usual shipping rate to get it sent to here, and they messaged me just before they're going to buy it and say, why is my shipping 70 quid? Why am I being charged 30 quid shipping and 25 and £20 customs? And I said, it's eBay. That's nothing to do with me. My shipping charge is $15.99 or whatever I charged. And I said, the rest of it is all eBay and taxes for importing a laptop.
That's pretty much what happened with mine. I think you hit for about 25 quid, and it was a faulty gaming laptop that I sold, and you bought it, you got hit for about 25 quid of customs charge, and you come back to me and I said the same thing. It's
because you just refer them straight to eBay, and they just deal with all that sort of rubbish. I say it's nothing to do with me, and I found it really works. And I find you get a lot more support for those cases, like you said, Ben, about, it's not quite as described, even though you put War and Peace in your adverts. You refer to eBay, and they side with you a lot more.
But that's another thing I'd be interested to see now, and I where it all goes there in as well, because we're staying away from eBay now at the moment as well, from being hit by not those charges. I never liked the global shipping thing. It was kind of hidden and it would annoy you, but you kind of got over it. But the price has gone crazy with eBay as well, But I can definitely see from your seller's point of view, because I know myself that I bought a jacket there off Amazon for 130 English pound, and I returned it. There was really nothing wrong with the jacket, but basically the customers are taking the piss when it comes to returning stuff,
It depends what they put as a return reason. There's 3 or 4 that you have to, as a seller, have to fund. If you change your mind, and I've had one from Ireland, funnily enough. She got a laptop and said it's not fit for purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's i6, i7 7th gen. I don't know what she's doing with it, but I said that's fine. I accepted her return, but she put change of mind, not fit for purpose. So she had to then pay the shipping. And I remember seeing the shipping charge that she had to pay from Ireland. It was about 60 quid. I thought it have been easier for you to sell it on. Yeah, it is crazy when you deal with abroad shipping, but that's the one plus that I can say about eBay. Their customer service is just as bad as that.
You shipping that one over to Cormac, it might have been his Sunday name.
Well, you have to put the declared value, don't you, now? So if you just put 10 quid or under, I think is it not £110 or under, doesn't
like €125, which would be roughly around that, you know. It's like see what's after happening is like, even for stuff like, someone was telling me they bought a pair of boots, you know, and the boots would say 200 quid. The next minute they arrived at the door and it's like 260 because they have to pay VAT. And like the issue is like, okay, we got VAT registered, we can claim it back, but the normal Joe Soaps, you know, they just see that's an extra 60 quid. That's where the issues are coming up, you know. As I said, it's look, I've said what I need to say on that, but it's just going to be interesting to see what happens, and hopefully, and like this is the thing, I'm hoping as much as everyone that this gets sorted out and we can all start trading properly, as in they get the paperwork sorted, everyone gets the paperwork sorted, and we go back to some sort of normality, you know. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I hope everything gets back to normal, but I think it'll get to normal-ish, but it'll never be 100% normal. Not that anything's ever been normal anyway, but right. Let's have a quick look at some of the questions what came in earlier. One of the issues what David G. Withers has is he'll buy stuff from a distributor and then they stop selling it a few months later, or basically when they sell out, they don't get any more stock in or whatever. I must admit I've had that issue a few times with certain distributors, and it's a pain in the backside because you just drum up, you do all the artwork and stuff because they haven't sent you anything like that. So you have to do your own point of sales materials. You get all that done. You even put one of the items on display, so something you're not being able to sell. When you've got rid of them all, you need to order more stock. Oh, they don't sell them anymore, which is a pain in the backside. So I must admit I agree with that one. Are you all right for time, Cormac?
Yeah, I'm actually going to head way before I go. I just want to say thank you, and if in any way that the Brexit thing was just at us at the moment. So, and I'll leave it in this one. I don't know, we didn't discuss with you, Phil, but I would say if anyone wants a topic on the show discussed, feel free to put it in the comments. Is that all right, Phil?
Yeah, if you've got any topics or anything you want to do, just put in the comment section. If you want to be on the show, put it in the comment section, or send me a message, or even send Cormac a message, or even Ben or Ian. One of us will get back in touch with you because we're all on pretty regularly. So if you want to talk about, I don't know, something you do at Amazon, something you don't like about vendors or whatever, feel free.
All right, lads. Thank you very much indeed, boys.
See you later, Cormac.
Bye.
See you, Cormac.
All right, just play it clear, everyone else. We are still live, so and we're carrying on with the final questions, unless Ben and Ian have to go. Right, let's have a look. So, where were we? So we got another one. What says they like to blame everything on COVID and Brexit. The last time I was to order an item for a next day delivery on a Wednesday. It ended up getting delivered on the Monday and stuff like that, and they're blaming COVID and Brexit. I must admit, I've not had any issues with deliveries at the moment, even with all the snow and stuff. But again, I've heard a lot of people have mentioned it. But with Amazon Prime, they basically get everything they need and so forth, and they're saying that he thinks that sometimes that the distributor's incompetent and blame it on politics, which I think some of them do, to be honest with you. It's a scapegoat for everyone, and I wouldn't be surprised if probably half of the people here have blamed something on Brexit or COVID. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but it is the case, unfortunately, due to stock and stuff. Let's have a look. The PC Surgeon says, I don't think the existing distribution business model works. I think he said something in the other chat earlier on regarding this. It's just not fit for purpose. I think they have to have a total overall and work out where the position is. As I do not just want to shift products. Let's have a look. Let's narrow it down.
There's an interesting one on this one, Phil, from Timothy.
Yeah.
What do you think of distributor referral schemes to drum up business? I think that's quite an interesting question, actually. I like it, and I suppose the example I gave earlier when I referred one of my customers to a distributor to buy some products that I wasn't going to be bothering with the middleman stuff, they have sorted me out because I sent them someone, and I think having a referral scheme in place is good if it works and it's a reliable system. But I like the kind of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours approach. Maybe sometimes with an what's the word? An informal scheme, so to speak, like many of us do ourselves, don't we? You know, loads of people refer Ben for laptops, or Sam McNally and other people who want stock. But I think they can work. I certainly wouldn't want one thrust upon me, but certainly an informal one I think is a good thing.
Yeah, referral schemes are pretty good in a way, but then it could also make you push a subject, push you selling probably a product or pushing a product on someone which you might not be 100% about. So it's either or. The only way I'd use a referral scheme is if I liked it, is probably the best way. Don't get me wrong. We use affiliate schemes and stuff at Tech for Tech. So obviously we have to fund ourselves and stuff. That's through that. Referral schemes as in through selling. We do have, with security, it's more of a renewal thing where we get a percentage of the cut, and we use Bullguard. We spoke about this in the pre-show, but we use Bullguard and we get a cut. I think it's 25% or 20% or whatever whenever anyone renews online and stuff like that. So it really depends on your point of view. But the only way I'd ever refer anything is if I'd liked it. I wouldn't refer anything that I didn't.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's why I prefer the informal approach. I certainly wouldn't want to sell a product that the distributor is saying to me, sell this one for me and I'll give you 20% of the profit margin or whatever is in your account to spend. That wouldn't entice me. But the nicety one, the kind of thanks for that referral. Next time you need something, let me know, and I'll either put free shipping on there for you, or I'll knock 20 quid off, or or send you a cheap item for free. That sort of thing that I mean.
Yeah, well, I can understand.
The affiliation thing's good. The affiliation thing is good for websites, I think.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm going to say, obviously, we run Tech for the Techs, as you know, myself and Jen, she's the owner. None of the distributors give us any benefits or anything like that. We don't ask for them because that's not what it's about. But I'm surprised that they haven't, because I would have thought they would want to get on our good side sometimes. And no matter what anyone thinks, we don't have any special affiliations with any distributors. You might see some of them mentioned more than others. That's mainly because we use them in our other job or whatever, or because we have good experiences with them, and that's simple as that. Or if it's Tech for Tech's wise, they send us more content. If they send us 100 products to review and the others don't send us anything to review, then they're going to get mentioned 100 times more. It's as simple as that. We don't have any real Tech for Tech's affiliations regarding distributors. Richard's just said, surely one of the problems that distributors have is manufacturers selling direct and then undercutting them. Often see products being sold on Scan, Amazon, etc. below distribution cost. Manufacturers need to support distribution to keep level playing field. I must admit, I do agree with that, Richard. It's a lot of the time distribution can't. They don't have much of an option, really. They can say to these companies, "Yeah, I want you've got to sell it us cheaper than Amazon," but 6 months later, they'll probably do a deal with Amazon. Amazon will end up selling it less and less. That's probably why I'm seeing 1 or 2 more manufacturers, or should I say distributors, distributing their own brand of products or exclusive brand of products. Okay, I know we're not mentioning much in the way of names, but again, Target are one of these. What I'm seeing them doing a lot of it. They've got their own brand of power supplies. They've got their own monitors. They've got all sorts of different things, exclusivity on SSDs now, and then they've got the gaming range and stuff like that. So they're sort of cutting out the middleman, so they're being the distributor and the vendor in one. So I can see how that's obviously a benefit to them and a benefit to us, but it does cut out that middleman. So yeah, I must admit, I do agree with you though that manufacturers selling often to direct to Amazon cheaper than distribution is a pain in the backside. A lot of time they blame it, it's Amazon making up the prices themselves, but you're not telling me that everything they sell on Amazon are making a loss on, and that just doesn't make sense to me. So they have got to make a profit. They do have loss leaders, yes, I understand that, but the amount what they're saying that they are doing loss leaders just doesn't add up to me. I doubt they're claiming £10 billion from the government because they're making a loss every year. They're making hell of a profit every year. So, but yeah, so I must admit on that one. So let's have a look at any other questions. Chat went through pretty quick tonight, so let's have a look.
I think if I can just say something, I think it's important not to bash disties because I don't think they're bad. I think they do a good job. I think there's certain places where they're quite good as well. I think there's a couple of times I've had, it happens. I had the wrong order sent to me, and the value's not been that high on it. They just said, look, just keep it. I think one time I got like a free keyboard and mouse off them, and the other time I ordered some printer paper, and they sent me, instead of printer paper, they sent me a little business card paper. And they just said, just keep it, we don't want it back. It is what it is. It swings and roundabouts. It's, I think what William said in his comment, I think he said something about a sort of prime thing to do with the postage would be great, because the kicker for me is the postage on top of everything you buy, because obviously you're buying it through the likes of companies with the A and the E in them. A lot of them times you get the free postage, and then it is what it is. We've all got a choice where we shop and who we spend our money with, but I'm with quite a few others on this that I'd rather not spend it on the big sort of corporations if we can keep it sort of local and support sort of local businesses, because that you'll get a better personal relationship with your account manager, and you'll never get buying through somebody on eBay or Amazon or something like that,
That's I think, to be honest, don't get me wrong, I've got nothing wrong against Amazon apart from obviously the so-called tax issues, but I would prefer to support obviously companies in this country or whatever, which of the money is going to go back to us rather than some foreign investor who's got billions and billions and is buying islands in the Pacific and all this, that and the other. But yeah, it's one of those things, is what's the lesser of two evils. Sometimes distribution can be a bit of a pain. They're not as fluid and as good as Amazon in some things, but they're better at others. So it's just finding that right balance, and whoever does may find that right balance, they'll wipe the floor with all the others. But it's going to be really hard to do, to be honest. You can't please everyone. So what works for one person is not going to work for another. I must admit, I use Amazon, yes, but generally most of my products and purchases are bought through distribution. But Amazon, there's some things you just cannot get anywhere else, or there's no stock and you have to buy it through Amazon. Or you look at a distributor and it's like, sometimes it is cheaper to buy it on Amazon, and you're thinking, okay, if it's a couple of quid difference, but when it's like 30 quid difference on a 100 quid item, you think, okay, I'll have to buy it on Amazon. I'm not going to lose 30 quid or whatever. But in a lot of cases, I must admit, I do find distribution cheaper. But again, it just depends on what you're looking at and so forth. If you're going to look for the cheapest SSD in the world, it's going to be cheapest on Amazon. But if you're going to look basically for a specific brand and model, a lot of time it's cheaper at distribution. But again, it doesn't go to scale.
I think as well, there are times when you speak to your account manager and they might be able to just do that little bit on the price. It's particularly in SSDs, if they know the price that another distributor is selling stuff at, they'll either sort of match it or sort of come back down a little bit just to sort of beat the price and get the business. It's yeah, it does happen, but obviously there's only so much movement they've got. But yeah, I'm generally sort of happy with distributors, and I'm not going to sit here and bash them. Like I say, it's I think another example where I quite like distributor. It's I bought a gaming build of one company, one distributor, and I think it was the Wi-Fi card went faulty or something like that, and they just said don't even send the card back. They'll just send your new card out for free, basically. And things like that, not having to send the whole system back, just saying this is the part that's causing the problem. They just sort it out, send out another one.
Yeah, I must admit.
We can sit and we can grow on about what we don't like, but then the flip side is the stuff that you do like, and you get that line through the big companies like Amazon and eBay.
Yeah, I must admit, I saw someone say in the comments near the beginning of the show, and they said, yeah, it was like one of them asked him to send a £3 fan back sort of thing, and they had to spend delivering it. It basically fell to pieces as they removed it from the case sort of thing. But you do get some, and I must admit I've had it before. I have a power supplier case, I had an issue with it, and they'll just say, oh, just write off, chuck it in the bin, we'll just send you another one out next day. And I even had an issue with one distributor where it was a really important order. I needed it that day or the next day, but it didn't turn up, it got lost. And they basically sent someone out directly from that distributor to bring it to me in person, which this was before Tech for Tech, so I had no influence over them or anything like that. But they basically brought it straight to my door. Okay, they're only about an hour and a half away, which narrows down who it would be if you get your map out and figure out where we are. But still, they went beyond on that, to be honest with you. Right, do you guys have anything else you would like to add before we end the show? I'm sorry again if anyone we've missed your comments. There has been a lot of them tonight. I think you're liking this new system. There's been more comments than I can read on there coming through.
Yeah, there's a nice one there about shipping costs. Yeah, I was in my local post office the other day, and I said, "Are they going to have another price rise soon? Because they've had 4 last year." He went, "No, we only had 3, and we've only had 1 this year." And I said, "No, financial year." He went, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I think they are having another one in March or April." So yeah, postal charges have gone through the roof, absolutely through the roof.
Yeah, so that's another thing to add on top. So next they'll be putting the minimum wage up, and then everything will go back up again even more. So more than likely that one's to come. But yeah, so I think that's going to be it for tonight then, guys. We do have a show next week with Orkill. So they supply solid-state drives, they manufacture them, and they actually in the UK, and you buy them directly. So if you're interested in that, getting SSDs, or not just SSDs, memory as well, they will actually ship it direct to you in the UK, so next day delivery and stuff. But they'll tell you more about that next week, why you should buy directly from them rather than going through a distributor or the likes of Amazon. But otherwise, I want to thank everyone for watching. If you are interested in joining Tech for Tech, just go to techfortech.co.uk /join, or basically read what it says at the bottom of the screen down there. Go to there, and basically you'll be able to join up for Tech for Tech. When you do click the link, it will take you to the Facebook group, which will ask you some questions. Make sure you answer the questions, because if you do not answer the questions, we will not let you in. We only let in around about 7% of the applications, because most of the others don't fill them in, or they just don't belong in the group, one or the other. But around 50% of them, they basically don't answer the questions. So make sure you answer the questions. Otherwise, we're just going to say no, or just press the reject button, basically. But otherwise, good night, everyone, and thanks for supporting local independent businesses.
Cheers.
Well.